Hello, viewers. You're welcome again back to the Betong Show, podcast by the Betong Media. And as I mentioned, always when I come live, I bring amazing guys, people who are doing awesome stuff in their various destination or in their destination. And my guest for today is someone who is a serial entrepreneur, someone who knows his why, someone who understands his purpose, someone who knows where he's going, and above all, someone who is working towards building communities. His mindset is set up on building communities, helping others as he moves towards achieving his goals. And my guest is no other person than Rodney Eriksson. Rodney Eriksson, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for the kind introduction. I think you had a really good point there about that. I'm knowing where I'm going. I have no idea, but I keep on going. I keep on going where I think I should be going.
Yeah, of course, that's what you think. But we will follow your stuff. We think we know where you are going. You know the things you are interested in, the things you get into. Of course, that's the thing. Those are the things that you really want to achieve and the things that defines your value. But today we're gonna look at some of those things to really tell, are you really that person that is driving community, to the level where you are like, okay, I've made this community or I'm working on this project. I don't know how it's gonna be, but I believe that this is the vision of what I want to achieve. So you're welcome again once more to the show.
Thank you once again.
Okay, viewers, after the break, we are going to dive into getting to know more about Rodney Eriksson, his story, vision, and passion. I believe that we all are going to be inspired by the stuff you will share today on the show. So see you after the break. Yeah, we are back live. I can see the smile on your face. It's like, I mean, my viewers should buckle the belts on, fasten their belts because you're gonna take us through a journey that we have never experienced or we couldn't have imagined, So I would love for you to, give a little bit of introduction about who is um Rodney Eriksson. Who do you think you are, or what do you think viewers or people, the public, should know about you?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Debatong. It's I'm so grateful for have met you like some while ago, and all the different things we've been doing together, and how active you have been within the communities that I have been building together with many of my friends. And my name in short is Ronny Eriksson. I'm a 25-year-old serial entrepreneur from Helsinki, Finland, the heart of the Nordics, I like to call it. And I'm this kind of guy. I like to smile a lot, but I also like to do a lot of different things. And since I was a young boy, I've been actively doing a lot of different things, both within sports, then later within business. I was always super active in school, part of each club, each of the different activities that you could find. And I think that kind of motion of never stopping has become kind of like addiction for me. And thank God that's one of those good addictions to have, I think. And my story in short, it starts when I was, I think, 10 years old. I started to play basketball, and that became kind of like a huge passion for me. So I played basketball in practice. I played basketball in school. I played basketball all the free time I had, and I did that for, I think, 10 years. And I actually managed to be somewhat good also in that sport. So even though I'm a short guy, 178 centimeters, which is the average length, I was still able to compete even on the national level. So I played a couple of years in the national team of Finland. And then I realized that I will never probably become a pro basketball player because I'm a bit short, and it's really hard to compete within that sport if you don't have the physical talent. So I went to normal military, and after the mandatory military year we have to do here in Finland, I started to work. And my first workplace actually came then through basketball. So already here I saw that these connections, this networking, this knowing people who know people actually opens up many doors for you. And the door always, which was open for me was as a logistic company called Transval. And Transval is one of the leading in-house logistic companies. So everything you can see within these like big brackets of buildings, what is actually happening inside there? How are the products actually moving from place A to place B? Who are the people who are actually driving those different machines inside? And there I had a really amazing and successful year. So from starting as a warehouse worker, working in the warehouse, driving some trucks, doing really hands-on work, I got the opportunity then later to start actually leading that warehouse. And from leading that warehouse, I got the opportunity to start recruiting more people into that warehouse. And from recruiting more people, I then moved over to the marketing department as I started at business school at Hanken School of Economics here just beside my apartment in Helsinki. And after I started at university, I quickly realized that this corporate life is not that much for me. So I've always liked to be the one driving the car, not the one sitting in the passenger seat besides. And this, I was super interested about entrepreneurship, about doing your own company, and then allowing all those different opportunities where of the people who actually would like to work together with you or work with the things that you're passionate about. And so a couple of my friends came to me and they had this waitering startup that they were doing. So giving out waiters to different events, weddings, and they needed some help. And well, I had my experience from the recruitment side on the logistics side. So I was a perfect fit. And within the years, I became one of the co-owners of CaterMate, which is still exists and employs something between 50 and 100 waiters now in Helsinki and Turku. And we try to grow now after the pandemic fast. So probably will be a couple hundred of people by the end of the year if everything goes right. And
Wow.
from that, my entrepreneurial journey started. And it's been a ride. Now I'm in various different things, doing various different of startups. But I think the Betong, so that it doesn't become a monologue of my life, we'll jump into those a bit later. So that's me in short.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you have so much in your portfolio that I think anyone who wants to be connected with you to get a piece of it. So I guess so. I wish those who are gonna watch today are gonna take this network that I have here serious. And as you mentioned, he's always smiling and open-minded person. So you can reach out to him whenever you want on LinkedIn and so on. And but let's move a little bit back. Let's say Woodney 8 years ago or 5 years back. Looking at what you have accomplished, till date. What will you say? About about your 5 years or 8 years ago. Do you ever think, or did you have this mindset, or did you know? Yeah, you are about you were like you're going to achieve this much that you have already achieved. Of course, maybe you might be thinking that you haven't achieved that much, but I know based on what I've seen online that you have achieved that much 5 years or 8 years from now. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Well, as any young person in our world, I think my first dream when I was 18 or 20 was to become a rich person one day. And I think like that kind of like drove me to the path of doing a lot of stuff and trying to find what I'm really good at. But I think pretty fast when I was doing that, I realized that the goal in life is not to kind of like become rich, but it's actually to build a rich life for yourself. And I think there is a big difference between kind of like money and then about like having a rich life around yourself. And I think like pretty soon I realized that I like to do things, but more than doing things, I like to do things with people. And now if we look at those big accomplishments that are close to my heart and that actually make me feel like really good in my days, is all those opportunities, all those organizations such as Ambitious Africa that we started a year ago together with some friends, was to create a platform for other young people to get the opportunities to make their dreams possible. And this is what kind of like makes me tick, and this is where my biggest successes have come from. So I don't care that much myself about building the biggest company in the world or like building the biggest things or owning the biggest thing, but I like to create the best possible platforms for companies or for individuals to grow. And now if you look at those kind of like successes that have happened on the way, is that most of the things that I've started, they are still alive, not because of me, not even thanks to me, but thanks to the people that are around me. And the
Wow.
same thing happens now, for example, on the northern side, as we're building this marketing agency, community, and academy. It's all about how can we build a platform that empowers the companies around us by looking at the best practices that already are out there. So I think I found my kind of like passion and place, but I still have a lot to learn. I'm way too young to be a professional in anything. But I think I have to say it that people know how to do stuff, and you need to trust people around you.
Yeah, and you're right. I think usually is to be really successful, you have to work with a team or have a community that can support you. It's not only about you, but what you're building is for the community. You want to see others go. You want to see young people, go. Not that most young people waste their youthful age. Most young people are lost what they really want. So you're building a community to help young people find themselves, discover their passion, get to know more of what they want in life. Now, looking at you, like let's say, of course, you went to business school, you went to Hanken Business School. I saw that online, and you also have the different like companies that you have worked with, and the one that you are a co-founder, with now. Looking at that, at like as I mentioned 5 years back, did you always have this like, let me just say, when you were 17 or 16 or 18, did you know that you were going to be a community driven person?
I think, in a sense, I always knew that, but in other sense, I didn't realize it. It took me some time to understand that I actually am a huge people person, and that I'm actually that social, and my drive comes from being that social and being around of people. So I tried a lot in my, I spent a lot of time watching TV, for example, until one day I realized that I watch TV and I watch TV series because I have some friends there on the other side of the TV as well, because it kind of like feels that you become a family with
Yeah.
TV series characters. So every day in my life, I've surrounded myself with people. So I think like I've always been a really community centric person. But then we come a bit back to the problems. And I think like Finland is in an interesting situation, and the Nordics are in an interesting situation, because I think what all people in life are searching for is security. And there is two main reasons why people have security, in my opinion. One is money. With money, you can buy your food, you can buy your shelter, a roof over your head, and you can kind of like make your everyday needed habits from the Maslow pyramid happen. But then when you look at the other side of the coin, for example, in those countries and those nations where we don't have that much of money, people and communities create that safety. So you actually have those people around you that are there. Someone provides food, someone provides with shelter, and someone provides with kind of like religion or something else that is mandatory. So I think
Yeah.
in Finland we have been driven a bit away from the community side, being like villages and being families, and that's something that I'm trying to resurrect again into this world.
Okay, wow, wow, that's really cool. Viewers, you say you're tuning right now. I'm with Rodney Eriksson. He's one of the founders of Ambitious Africa. And we are just talking about his story, his past, future, what he's passionate about, his vision, mission. And so far, he's been sharing awesome stuff here that I think if you are joining us right now, you should, watch the show so you can get some of the things. And I believe so you are one of those people that people always want to search online to like, who is this guy? What is this up to? I believe they will stumble on this to get to know you more before they can even connect with you in person. But now let's look at what really, like, the thing that drives you. Of course, you mentioned community, you're working with like you. I see you see my vision is based on the belief that a healthy society needs all of its people to recognize that they can bloom and we bloom, go and succeed throughout their lives, learning by doing and doing together. Is it that you get your passion by working as a team, or you get your passion by helping people go. So I want you to, or I don't know if say how you can combine, I don't know, like I'm trying to like to get it all in together. Like, are you passionate working with people, or you are passionate also seeing young people go? Because you can be passionate to work with people, but maybe not want to see young people go. So I want to, to bring that together. Like, I don't know if so you can share some light on that.
It's a really good question, and I think my passion put into two words would be growth and learning. So those are the biggest two passions for me. And how I would like explain that is that I believe that happiness is a journey, not a destination, as the like cliche quote goes. But I think that if you look at it more in detail, uh, it's kind of like growth is kind of like a mindset you have, and growth is about growing, not only like growing the company in metrics. So you maybe could grow a company from being 1 million valuation to a 100 million valuation, and then it's cool, then you have more numbers on the paper and more money to buy apartments and cars with. But I think in essence what growth is all about, it's about growing as individuals, and that's my passion. My passion is to become the best version of myself, and to become the best version of myself, the people around me need to be able to be the best versions of themselves. So if you, the Beton, would come and work with me, for example, whatever venture or whatever project we're doing together, and then in 5 years you would be the CEO of Tesla, that would make me tremendously happy, even though you left me and our company, because
Oh,
you have grown. You have grown. Hopefully, that's the work that you actually want to do also. So that's also one benefit to have there. But for me, it's this kind of like growth mindset. That's the biggest passion of me, and realizing and having all the people around me realize that they can be whatever they can be. Like I could be a butterfly if I would like to be a butterfly in some like version of it. But that's my biggest passion, is to allow myself to grow. And when people around me grow, then I start to grow automatically, because you are the sum of the three people
yeah.
around you.
So in essence, it's both ways. So
Exactly.
I get that.
It's a
Now
needle.
looking at Ambitious Africa, you guys, or Ambitious Africa is one of the most renowned organization in Finland that is promoting businesses, both ways, the Nordic and Africa. And I see that there's something different about Ambitious Africa. I mean, Africa have this history of European countries coming to Africa to extort resources. Kind of like not a really good image when it comes to doing business within Africa. Well, I see Ambitious Africa doing business in a different way, in a way that I think most people, or like me growing in Africa, I've not seen that kind of way of doing business between two countries, like a Western country coming to Africa and involving the African community to wants to do what they must do to take them where they want to be. So, what you guys are doing is providing them with the resources that they need. If say they need one to get them to that level where that level of growth that you mentioned that you want to see people go. So, how did you manage to, like, when was that moment that you finally realized that this is the right way, or this is the right model to go about um, this sort of way of building communities, especially in Africa, with Ambitious Africa?
That's a really, really great question. And to start off with, like in short, for those listeners who don't know Ambitious Africa is a non-profit organization with the goal to bridge all the Nordic countries with all the African countries. And the idea is to empower the young people to lead the change and finally solve all the different SDGs that are set there by the United Nations. And we started around 1 year ago. Actually, the organization was founded exactly 1 year ago. So it's kind of like our organizational birthday in a sense. And The idea behind Ambitious Africa, where it comes from, it's a bit of a long story, but if I run it through in a shorter manner, 10 years ago, it was not that popular in Finland to do startups or for young people to start stuff. And what happened here in Finland during that time was that something called Slush was started. And for those who don't know what Slush is today, it's one of the biggest or even the biggest startup event of the world. It had around 27,000 visitors and more than 1,000 volunteers some years ago before Corona. And Slush was not built to do the best and the biggest startup event in the world. It was never the goal of that event. The goal of that event was to create a youth-led event, a talent, like a platform for talent to become better talent, and for investors and startups to be able to come together in a certain region. And what this all did was that young people every year, they build Slush. They are in charge of Slush. They're in charge of raising the money. They are in charge of solving the problems. So the older generation is there to give the resources, the different things they need, and then the young people make it happen. And now if we move over to Africa, a continent full of 54 completely different countries, varying from each other, but with a similar situation that Finland and the Nordics were 10, 20, 30 years ago. So we have this amazing amount of young people. We have so many young individuals who are motivated, capable, knowledgeable, smart. They have the drive to actually drive the change. They know their local problems. They know what the problems are in Ghana, in Kenya, in any of these countries. But what they lack is for the moment resources, and they lack collaboration, especially between the world, because there is still this motion and this wrong picture of Africa.
Yeah.
It's only starving children and it's only like wooden houses or like this kind of like huts or and so on. But Africa is actually a like fast growing, amazing economy full of amazing young talent. So what we wanted to do with Ambitious Africa was to change the perception. So it's no longer the nonprofits and companies going to Africa to help, but it's actually the young people in Africa telling us what they need help with, which problems they need to have solved. And then we formulate teams that are, for example, 2 young people from Kenya and then 2 young people from Finland working together to solve that problem. So we're creating this platform where problems are solved or need-based by the young people in the local countries. And this is where I see the big difference happening. And this is also why I see that Ambitious Africa in a year has grown into an organization of more than 500 volunteers with big companies supporting it, such as Wärtsilä, Bolt, and Pipedrive, and with more than 27 countries that already have formed teams to work together with us to drive this change.
Wow, 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 wow. I mean, you guys are like, of course, guys. If you don't know, I'm fully with Ambitious Africa. So we are like, you see, you really want to connect with Ambitious Africa. You want to connect with the organization. I think you can reach out to either Ronnie or me. You know, like I mean, as you mentioned, that's just how it is. You can work on ideas, your own ideas, with the help of a team or someone who might. Of course, you can have still form your team, you know, in wherever you are. It doesn't necessarily mean that, but you must form a team with someone from Finland, form a team with someone from Cameroon, from Nigeria, from anywhere. You know, the idea is just to have that community where you can get support whenever you need one, you know, to achieve your goals. Now we are approaching the end of the show, but what will you say, only that like is your vision for the next 5 years in everything you do, be it Ambitious Africa or what you want to achieve for you and the things you're working on?
I think one of the words that sums up most of my vision is just like right up above my head here. So one of the paintings I have in my apartment, which is in Russia, and it states Pravda, which means freedom. And for me, freedom has always been the one thing that I've been like aiming for. I don't think freedom means that you have unlimited money on your bank account and you can just keep running around and driving yachts and doing all of that stuff. But it's kind of like the freedom to choose for me, my family, my friends, and all my colleagues to do the things that they're actually passionate about. And I hope that Ambitious Africa actually becomes a platform where young people are able to make their dreams possible with the help of those people who are already made their dreams possible. And then for me, the biggest passion and biggest vision for the moment, where I'm putting most of my effort to, is this Norders concept. So you can find it at www.norders.org. And Norders is a creative community, an academy, and an agency that works to figure out why the Nordics are so strong, what makes the Nordics so special, why do we have most of the unicorn companies coming per capita coming here from the Nordic region, and then giving that all information out to the world so that we can maybe see a new Nordic region arising in Eastern Africa, for example. And I would like to say to all people out there, and especially to all of those who still are a bit struggling what to do or where you want to go or what your vision or mission is, that take a step back, take a breather, and just take a long list, a white paper, and just start to write things that are important to you. We call this as the values, and there is this kind of set of Nordic shared values. And if you know what you value in your life, if it's people, or if it's freedom, or if it's being as much alone as possible, when you figure those things out, then it's pretty easy to see that are the things you're doing going to the right direction. But first you need to know who yourself are, and I think that's the biggest job that I'm doing and biggest vision. Hopefully I know at the age of 30 who Ronny Eriksson is, what he likes to do, and with which things he enjoys the most. But I'm still in the process of that.
Wow, that's awesome. Now let's dive to the last question for today. What do you think is your greatest challenge, or what are your greatest challenge? In the past, and what do you think might be in the future, and what are the things you're doing to go about it or to combat it?
I think my biggest challenge and my biggest fear is this sound I am discussing with that exists here between my ears. This sound that always says that, Ronny, aren't you doing right? Ronny, now you said something wrong. Ronny, you look stupid. All these different doubts I have about myself. And even though how much I do meditation or how much I work with that, the voice is still there. But what I've learned is that life is pretty long, even though people say life is short. And the most important thing to kind of get away from all of that is just to do things. So don't overplan. I've been overplanning so many things, and that's why things never happen. So if you have something you would like to test or try, just go out there and try it. That has changed so much for me, and I believe it will change as much for you. So it's just go get it, go do whatever you want. If you want the girl's number, you need to run for it. If you want to learn how to read Chinese, you need to start talking and reading Chinese. And this works for everything. And then it takes the 10,000 hours to become perfect. But this was the biggest challenge for me. It took many years before I realized that if I just do something, I become good at it, or I learn to hate it. And then if I learn to hate it, then I shouldn't be doing that. So I think this has been the biggest challenge and biggest stopper for me. And I'm going a lot faster now that I realized it.
Wow. One thing I've learned today, that has really inspired me, I can relate with it, is the fact that when you work in a way that you are building communities, you're helping people, you are trying to create an environment where people can, get solutions for their problem, you automatically find yourself start going to a level where you never expect. So what I see in what I see in you as your success, to me, I see what I relate to you as a success is that you are able to build a community, not because you think you know so much, but because you want to be there, you want to be available to give what you can to help that community grow. And you are not there like someone who want to import, or someone who want to say I know it, or you're there as someone who want to learn, someone who want to always grow and learn from each other. And much that you are giving people opportunities to showcase their talent or to become the best version of themselves through creating a platform or being part of a platform like Ambitious Africa and other organizations that you are working with. So that's my takeaway for today. And viewers, I believe you have learned something today. Those of you who are watching, I can see Camelia Sultanova is watching. I can see Perilla Rita is watching. I can see Colesium is watching. I can see Igor Line is watching. Guys, thanks for watching. And I don't know if you have some questions for Rodney. I'm gonna give some seconds to see if some sort of question gonna pop up for Rodney to answer. But if not, I'm just gonna read what Camilla Solonova says. She says, in any community building, trust and equality is essential. How do you take trust and equality tangible for people who have never experienced it? Many people want to belong in the Nordics, but need various ways to translate values in daily behavior. Any in inputs? That's actually a question. So
Yeah, it's a really good question.
yeah.
And my answer in short would be that, Camilla, I'll take my phone and I'll call you and then ask you to help, because I know you're really good in that. But if you target that question actually to me, I think these are extremely important and rising topics. And I've been really close to seeing how hard it is actually to integrate here in Finland. And I know that that's something that we really need to work with. And I think, like, for me personally, like this openness, inclusion, equality, that all those things have come pretty naturally. So I was born in an environment where people have always come from all over the place. First it was basketball, then it was the military and so on. So kind of like being pushed into that. But then there is a lot of people who are not maybe that in touch with that. And I think, like, to start off with, the most important thing there is to, like, raise the awareness of that. And I think that Finland is doing a great job through the young people in that already. So for example, Inclusive as an organization is driving the change really well, how to kind of like wake up this notion within organizations that this is actually something you should focus on. But then when we look at the individual side, and what an individual could do is to kind of like travel a bit. So I think, like, what we need to do more is to kind of like go outside to see how things really are, how not so different the world is in some places and how different it is in other places. Then when we understand and we are kind of like the outsider ourselves, then it's a lot easier to turn it inside. So this, I want to give a big highlight to Hanken for the mandatory exchange and internship they have, where you really have to go outside and see a bit the world. And then when we start to see more and more examples, things start to change through examples. And it's already proven by many research and papers and facts that diverse and inclusive work environments actually are a lot more effective, a lot more better, and they work better for both happiness and for growth. So I think when those stats start to be more out there and we start to see the modern organizations, that change will start to happen everywhere. And hopefully we are soon all one big happy family.
Wow, I hope Camilla, that was a cool response to you. But anyway, if you need more input from Rodney, I think you can connect with him, and I think you already connect with Rodney anyway. So you guys can have a chat about that. You know, Camilla also say, Colette says, yeah, first we need to know what we want in life before we can evaluate ourselves. So I think she was just confirming what you were saying there. Um, Igor Lionel says, what is it? Pravda means truth. Okay, yeah. I mean, is it the city in
Someone has
Russia? Sorry,
liked
the
me.
apartment in Russia. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thanks so much for participating in on the show. I appreciate you guys tuning in and sending your questions, your comment. Please share this content with your network. You can never know who is in your network that might benefit from content like this, or someone in your network who might who only can really be that person that they need to take them where they want to be. Well, only have you ever imagined that some people were born to connect with some people to take them to the next level, So I always have this mindset that some people were born to connect with some people, and through that connection, it might spark something that will take them to another level. So people always take people to that level. So, anyways, thanks so much for coming again once more, Rodney. And I'm gonna allow you to go because you're a busy man. It was, it wasn't easy to have you here. today. Thank you. Any last words for viewers?
No, okay. Thank you so much, Debutong. It was a pleasure to be here. You have such a nice concept. I like it, and every day we learn something new. And thank you, Agar, so much for figuring out that this doesn't mean freedom, because when I bought it, they told me so. So my whole life has been a lie. But other than that, thank you so much, Debutong.
Okay. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. As usual, if you see you haven't yet subscribed on the Beton Media on YouTube, please do subscribe on the platform on YouTube. That's how you can promote this content. Also, comment what you think about what Uni is mentioned here. What do you think about community building? What do you think about like all what is mentioned here? And more to that, if you say you have some tips that you can share on how we can really grow communities or how we can support each other, or if say you want to come to the show to share your success story or share some ideas or talk about business, then you are welcome to join us. Until then, I wish you all a happy day and nice weekend that is coming from tomorrow. I mean, bye bye and take good care of yourself.